Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in our bottom right hand side, Equal Destiny. Destiny from Clan Equal. I don't believe this is the Destiny. I don't believe so. I don't believe he still plays StarCraft actually. I think he's only League of Legends. I know he popped back into StarCraft for a short period of time when Heart of the Swarms hits, but I don't think he's still playing it. At least I haven't seen him streaming it in quite a long time. And his opponent is Rhye. And I can't help but pronounce it like an Asian person would pronounce the question why. And it's so funny. I love it so much. Both players are in mid diamond, 25 rank diamond ish, and we are on Alkaline Waste. Alkaline Waste. So it's going to be a fantastic game. I love maps. I said in my last video, I love maps that you only have one spawn location because it really simplifies the matchup. It simplifies the build order. It makes it so you're not nearly as nervous early on. You can really get out there and scout in the direction that you want to scout, and Rhye is showing us exactly what direction he wants to scout in. He's bringing out his probe. He's going to see exactly what's going on. There's no 10 pool here. Destiny's playing it very close to the vest. He is getting up almost 200 minerals. An immediate surround on the probe, and he goes down in just a blaze of glory. Really fast reactions there from Destiny, and Rhye just did not stand a chance. Oh well. But hey, the spawning pool wasn't down by the time he got there, so he's going to know that there's no super early cheese, no super early rush, and he could also count how many drones were there. He wasn't seeing any drones being cut. It wasn't like there was any sort of weird stuff going on, even on the small aspects of the creep that he didn't scout. So spawning pool and extractor goes down pretty much identically at the same time. No hatchery just yet, but we see 400 minerals have been saved up for Rhye, and with this pylon placement, it looks like it's going to be a Forge fast expand. Nexus first fast expand, but that's okay because Rhye can get away with that because Destiny had not thrown down a spawning pool by the time he gets there. There goes the Forge. Here comes the drone. It's going to be popping in there. It's going to see that there's no gas being tapped just yet, and he doesn't even need to get up there. He's going to be able to see what's going on here at the main base. I don't think he's popped over in time to see the Nexus, but you have to assume. You've got to assume. Destiny's going for round 2 though, going after Rhye's second probe, and that probe is actually going to be heading all the way home. Extractor's already been tapped with 3 drones. Going to go whole hog on the gas speed. Is going to get Zergling speed, or is he going to go straight to lair? Probably Zergling speed, especially because we just don't see a hatchery being thrown down just yet. Rhye is going to be really nervous now that he sees Zerglings coming out. No hatchery being thrown down just yet. That means that Destiny's going to have to double up either on his economy or his aggression in a relatively short amount of time. Throwing down that hatchery, but that doesn't really mean anything because how delayed this aggression is going to be. He's going to need another hatchery to get up the larva injects and the larva that he needs to produce the amount of Zerglings he needs to actually do like a Baneling bust, if that's what we're going to be seeing. The super delayed hatchery makes me very nervous for both players, actually, because Destiny's going to be very much behind, economically speaking, and it's also going to be meaning that he's going to have to catch up somehow, and a Baneling bust is definitely the best way to do that, especially with more Zerglings and a Baneling nest on the production field. I called that. Awesome. Great. So 6 Zerglings have already made their way over there. They're going to be morphing into Banelings as soon as the Baneling nest finishes. 8 more Zerglings on the production field, as well as a plethora of tech coming out, a metabolic boost, a nice wall off, pseudo complete by Rhye, especially now that Zealot has come out, but he needs a second Zealot, or more likely a pylon thrown in here, because this is a gap right here. This gap allows those Zerglings to slip on through, and in fact, if he wanted to, he could probably do a run by, but he doesn't really want to. He wants to make these into Banelings to actually demolish them. This Zealot runs forward, is going to see, oh man, so many Zerglings running away, and he's going to be like, nope, go back, shore up the defense. I think maybe the positioning now is tight. I don't know. It's really tough to tell. This is a weird wall. Both the Mothership Core coming out. Hopefully she's going to have enough energy to throw down a slow time bomb to make it so these Banelings can take 1 or 2 extra hits from the Photon Cannon. But here comes the Zerglings pushing forward. Another swell of Zerglings moving in from the south side. Checking out the third, but that's just so they can move in kind of different locations. Oh man, those Zealots getting completely sandwiched by the Banelings, but getting off some really nice hits. None of the structures, with the exceptions of the pylon, actually taking damage. The Zealots have to retreat. Just perfect play by Rhye. What a hold. Those Banelings could have just absolutely crushed everything here. I would have loved to have seen them actually hit the pylon and then the second pylon, because with 6 of them, I think they could have succeeded in taking down this one completely and this one into half health, and then those Zerglings might have been able to push on through. Maybe. It definitely would have offered him a better chance than what the way he did it, which was just move in as deep as possible and take as many shots from the photon cannons as possible. And now Destiny's in a world of trouble. I mean, 27 over 27. Zerg never wants that against Protoss. You definitely want to be a base up. You definitely want to be a whole leg up on the probe production. But with the extractor no longer mining any gas, he's going to be able to double down on the drone production. I'd love to see him throw down a third in a very short period of time. Otherwise, he's going to have to double up on that aggression once again. And man, that would be a complete all-in. Canceling the starport. I wonder what was going on there, but he's still got 3 gateways. He's beginning to tank quite a lot of money. Rhye is got to be looking for ways to throw down just some extra infrastructure, maybe some extra gateways. Love to see a robotics facility to get out an observer, and then a warp prism, because he's going to know that his opponent is going to be expanding, and he's going to be expanding with very little armory to defend those expansions. And this is really nice harassment for the Mothership Core. You'd expect to see a Queen here to actually fend off that Mothership Core, but okay, well, here she comes. Lair Tech also going down right in front of that Mothership Core. Just 2 Queens out on the field right now. This hatchery is very much exposed, because in reality that Queen's not going to be able to waddle over to the hatchery in time to actually stop the Mothership Core from taking her down. And that's exactly what's going on. That's got to be frustrating to Destiny. Producing 2 Spore Crawlers back at home, though, so they can fend off this sort of aggression, and also opening up the front door. Rhye is beginning to move out with a nice number of sentries. Is really going to make it so that in reality the only thing that Destiny can produce right now to defend is going to be a bunch of Zerglings. He's got the Roach Warren on the way, but that's probably not going to be done in time for this small little push. And with that huge number of sentries thrown in there, the force fields are going to chop up even this small number of Zerglings. Really aggressively placed pylon. That Queen is going to get caught off completely. Oh no, choosing to waddle over there. Intercepted by this Protoss force. Here comes the counterattack from those Zerglings, focusing down the force fields from the sentries, focusing on the sentries right away. Great play by Destiny. Unfortunately, good reactions from Rhye. Throws down the force fields, keeping one of them alive, only sacrificing 1 for the total of 8. Really good play from Rhye. Destiny throwing down 3 spine crawlers. If these spine crawlers do succeed in going up, then he won't have a problem holding off this aggression. I think it is inevitable that this hatchery falls, though, and sacrificing so many drones just to buy time. 8 workers killed in the favor of Rhye right now. The Zerglings pushing forward, electing to take down the pylon, but not, oh man, just not even trying to poke at the incredibly weak Stalker right now. The Roaches are finally on the field, and I think that's going to succeed in pushing back Rhye, because if he elects to come up that ramp, he's going to be met with 3 spine crawlers. The third is definitely going to go down. It's just a matter of time until that Mothership Core elects to take it down completely. And back at home, we see a Void Ray on the production tab, which is a really cool decision. That's going to allow him to do even more harassment, because he's seen that the anti-air is completely lacking from Destiny right now. But man, Rhye is being really ballsy. All it's going to take is Destiny to elect to produce a massive number of... what is keeping him? Yeah, he's got plenty of larvae. I don't know what is keeping him from producing a bunch of roaches and just raffle stomping this Protoss army. But I think he was kind of befuddled by the loss of that hatchery. He really doesn't want to commit overly to one way or another, and he's just hoping that those stalkers push forward into the static defenses. But I think what all he's doing is allowing Rhye to just re-macro and produce a massive army. I mean, the sheer number of stalkers right now is really going to cause a big problem to him. Finally electing to produce 7 more roaches. That could be enough to hold this off. But man, Rhye's got him in a stranglehold. It's really weird to see a third not being thrown out. I mean, he's got such a massive advantage, and he maybe will be trying to finish this game right here now. But I think that would be a mistake. I think what he needs to do is throw in a third. Recognize that he's got an economic lead. Sit back and relax. A nice... That's all he was waiting for, was the inevitable push forward from those roaches, and then he just kind of zips back. And there goes the third from Rhye. He's really playing this like a champ. The 2 Void Rays that are out on the production field, are out on the field right now. A third one popping out of the production from the Stargate. is really just going to make this force incredibly intimidating to those roaches. What can Destiny do to get back into this? Hydras would be fantastic. It obviously needs to get a third. I think maybe a fourth too. Take down these destructible debris, throw a third and a fourth down, throw some static defenses, really turtle up. Realize that you've lost this economic battle right now, but there's no reason for you not to take some risk in your infrastructure, and you can pop right back into this game no problem at all, because Rhye is still very low in supply. He definitely needs to take some time to get up the infrastructure necessary for this. He's got that Twilight Council down, but I don't think he's got Blink just yet. Blink is probably forthcoming, as is some form of archive. It could be the Dark Templar archive, could be just the Templar archive. I think he's going to be dealing with something sooner or later. Some form of high-tech play has got to be coming out of Rhye, because he can't afford just to stay on Stalker and Void Ray, because Hydras really will just tear him a new one if he elects to do that. However, Destiny is proving to be rather tenacious with his roaches and Zerglings. Trying to take down these destructible debris. However, he's going to be open to a flank attack. Here comes the Void Rays and the Stalkers, and that is just a composition made in heaven to demolish these roaches. They're going to get taken down, but here comes the Hydralisk Den, so a tech switch hopefully coming out of Destiny. I really hope he doesn't elect to go roaches and Hydras, because that's a composition that just does not fare well against this. Basically, what you end up wishing is that for every roach you produce, you wish that was a Hydralisk instead, and then you just supplement the Hydralisks with a meat shield wall of Zerglings, and it just rakes in the kills against this, because Zerglings do a really good number against the Stalkers, as well as fare moderately well against the Zealots. I mean, yeah, they get chewed up pretty quickly, but all they do is keep the Zealots away from the... man, that dies fast. Wow. All they do is they keep the Zealots away from the Hydralisks so that the Hydralisks can actually do damage. 13 Hydralisks on the production tab. Blink is going to be finishing up in a relatively short amount of time. +2/+2 coming out. And do we have any upgrades at all? No, of course we don't. We don't have any upgrades at all. That's great. Destiny pushing forward with his Zerglings, but they get cut off completely by this huge number of force fields. I think that was the entire load of force fields from Rhye, though. The Hydralisks pushing forward, and the Void Rays have overextended themselves. One of them gets taken down completely. The static defenses that Destiny had invested in early on, allowing him to keep up his natural, but oh my goodness, another withdrawal. Nicely done there by Rhye, keeping his Void Rays specifically alive. Those Void Rays were going to be taking massive amounts of damage from those Hydralisks. Now that they're out on the field, we see 8 more Hydralisks. Yes. Keep up that Hydralisk production. This is definitely going to allow him to get back into this game, especially because Rhye is electing to phase out his Zealots. He's only got 3 Zealots left, a huge number of Stalkers, and the Zealots are really going to cause Hydralisks a problem, but Stalkers really don't. Hydralisks are superior to Hydralisks in every sense of the way, except they can't blink. Blink Hydralisks needs to happen. That would be absolutely fantastic. Hey, some more Zealots. That's a good decision there by Rhye. What's not a good decision by Rhye is to stick with this composition completely. I want to see a Templar Archive. I would love to see some High Templars with Storm, and then you morph them into Archons as soon as you're done. I feel like that would really add some much-needed AoE potential to this composition, and it'd be for minimum effort. Obviously, he's running low a little bit on gas, but that's okay. He's got a third up right now. He's taking a fourth down in the lower left-hand side. So, yeah, he's got this game well in hand, but the AoE is definitely where he's weak right now, and he's open up to some counterattacks from Destiny. Destiny's electing to grab a third here. Where else is he getting the hatchery? Oh, back at home, a macro hatchery. A very good decision, too. He wants to keep up that production, spin down some of that extra minerals. Also doubling up on the Evo chambers now that he's down by 2 upgrades. It's 2-2 to 0-0 right now. Groove Spine's being researched. Did he get the muscular augments already? Did I miss it? Actually, you know what? There's a whole screen for that right now. Muscular augments. Yes, we do. Those Hydralisks are going to be very speedy, both on and off creep. A little bit of aggression coming out from a handful of Zealots, but it looks like we've reached a stabilization point. Looks like the third from Destiny is going to be going up without too much effort. The destructible debris tower has fallen down. 5 Zealots poking forward just to take down the tumor, and quickly retreating. They didn't even see this huge force. Oh, another little wing of Zealots. 8 Zealots total out on the field, but no, it looks like they're all going to be retreating back at home. We don't see any more Void Rays being added into this. We see a robotics facility, a second robotics facility, as well as a robotics bay being added on, so maybe that AoE is going to take the form of Colossus. We don't see a Spire just yet coming out of Destiny, so he's definitely going to be open up to those Colossus. There's going to be a ridiculous amount of damage. Still just the lair, no Infestor Pit for that Hive Tech just yet. +1/+1 starting up at the 20-minute mark. Oh my goodness, Destiny's in a lot of trouble, especially as Rhye opening that black backdoor. 198 over 179 supply. This is going to be absolutely brutal, especially if those Hydralisks elect to engage on the choke. But no, Rhye's not even giving him the option. He's throwing down the force fields. It's just going to be absolutely demolishing this fully saturated third. Oh, that is absolutely brutal for Rhye, because he's almost completely mined out at his main base. Oh, but this could be a great decision. Oh, he's electing to go for a base trade, but no, Rhye. He's doing the recall back to the third. It looks like he's going to lose his fourth because he didn't recall there. That's probably where I would have recalled, or at least to the natural, so that you could hit all three of them. But man, with the Colossus already underway, the extended thermal lance being researched, it looks like this only minorly saturated expansion from Rhye is going to go down. But with that, Destiny is completely sandwiched between this force. The Zealots moving forward. He's going to be chewing away so many of these roaches and these Zerglings. But man, those Hydralisks do so much damage. And with the +1/+1 just seconds away from finishing, Destiny really needs to hold this push off. But it doesn't look like Rhye's going to give him the opportunity for that, progressing through the force fields. Oh no, Zergling's attacking the assimilator, leaving his Hydralisk completely exposed in the rear. Just shelling down 50 supply to 170 supply right now. Rhye couldn't just 1A into any aspect of Destiny's main base. He's got 12 more Hydralisks on the production field. 1-1's going to be finishing in a very short amount of time, but the extended thermal lance will be done by the time Rhye makes it across the field, as well as a second Colossus being added in, and he's already doing the shield upgrades because he's at 3-3 on the ground, and 1-1 is just finished, 2-2 just now starting. Destiny is in for a world of hurt. He hasn't even rebuilt that third base yet. Economically speaking, 700 over 1400, and that's just a terrible position for Zerg. I feel bad for him because he's not doing a bad job. Like, he made a good decision. Hydralisk. Hey, I see the unit composition that my opponent is doing. I shall get Hydralisks because that does a lot of damage against them. It does, and it would work great if his economy could actually afford it. And he's getting the Spire up because he saw the Colossus. He's making great decisions. He just can't deal with the harassment coming out of Rhye. He didn't have the anti-air to save his third. He didn't have the roach production to save off that third whenever he was dealing with that early aggression. And then he just hasn't defended his hatcheries well. Zerg really needs to be played defensively in this sort of matchup. You need to be able to stay constantly up one base over your opponent. You need to be constantly throwing cheap units away at the Death Ball to keep the Death Ball in check, specifically the Colossus count, and the Void Race for a lesser matter too. It's kind of an arms race that Zerg can't afford to lose. And unfortunately, Destiny got behind in a big way early on and just never fully recovered, partially because Destiny wasn't spending enough on defense, not spending enough time on defense, but mostly because Rhye just was constantly being aggressive, really just pushing forward. It looks like this Nexus is going to go down from some Zerglings. I would have loved to see that play earlier on, but as things are now, Rhye's pushing in with a 200 over 200 army against just a handful of Hydralisks with almost 2-2 upgrades. Again, pushing in just seconds before that upgrades finishes. Really good timing there for Rhye, but yeah, Destiny's got absolutely no choice but to tap out. It looks like the third's going to go down on the bottom, or fourth's going to go down for Rhye also, but it's far worse news for Destiny to lose his natural than anything else. Tapping out without a good game, but it was a good game. I enjoyed this a great deal, and it looks like Rhye enjoyed it too, because it's very rare that you get a death ball this monster. This just terrified. He's just having a field day, taking out all these, maybe gaining a little bit extra. Hey, do you get extra experience if you kill stuff after the game ends? Or does it just kill everything and total up the experience? You know, I don't know. I don't know, but you know what I do know is that I love you guys. Thank you for watching my video. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary.